Today, we're digging into one of the oldest, darkest stories ever told, the story of Cain. But we're not just going to retell it. We're treating this as the original case study, really the anatomy of the first murder. It's all about jealousy, choice, and the devastating consequences that follow. So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the rejected offering that lit the fuse. Then we'll get to that crucial moment of choice, when sin is literally at the door. After that, the tragic result, the first murder. And we'll finish with the fallout, the punishment, and a really surprising paradox. All right, so let's set the scene. It all kicks off with two brothers, Cain and Abel. They're the first sons of Adam and Eve, and they each come to God to make an offering. And this single moment, right here, is the spark that ignites everything. And here's the core conflict, laid out plain and simple. God accepts Abel's offering, but he rejects Cain's. Now, the text doesn't immediately spell out why, but that really doesn't matter to Cain. All he sees is rejection, and that's what lights the fuse inside him. Cain's reaction is immediate, and it is intense. This image of his fallen face, it's not just him being bummed out. It's a physical sign of what's happening inside. It's pride, it's resentment, it's white-hot anger. And notice, his first move is to look outward, to blame God, to blame his brother, anywhere but inward to ask, hey, what did I do wrong? And that gets us to the heart of it. You see, it was never really about the gift itself, the fruit or the animal. The offering was rejected because Cain's heart was in the wrong place. His actions weren't coming from a place of righteousness, and his reaction to being called out, it wasn't humility or repentance. It was just pure, prideful rage. He had already failed the test. And this is where the story pivots. Because this isn't about fate. It's not like Cain was doomed from the start. This is a story about choice. God actually speaks directly to Cain and gives him a chance, a clear path to turn back from the brink. Now, to really get what happens next, we have to understand the word sin. The original Hebrew word hatat is actually an archery term. It means to miss the mark. Think of an arrow that just doesn't hit the bullseye. It's not about being some cartoon villain. It's about a failure to align your actions with the right standard. And when you see it that way, God's warning to Cain becomes crystal clear. And here it is. This is one of the most powerful warnings in all of literature. God just lays it all out. He gives Cain this incredible visual. Sin isn't just a bad idea. It's a predator. It's a wild animal literally crouching at your door, and it wants to control you. But, and this is the absolute key, God tells him you must rule over it. The power is in his hands. So what God gives Cain here is basically a 3-step guide for mastering his own inner demons. Step 1, recognize the threat. This anger you feel, it's dangerous. Step 2, understand what it wants. It desires to have you, to consume you. And step 3, take command. You have the power to master this feeling. Cain is told point blank that he has a choice and he has the strength to make the right one. But he doesn't take that advice. And what comes next is the tragic, inevitable result. See, the murder of Abel isn't some sudden crime of passion. It is the direct and calculated outcome of the choice Cain just made. The choice to feed that beast at his door instead of mastering it. I mean, it's as simple and as devastating as that. He completely ignored God's counsel. He became a slave to his emotions. Instead of ruling over that anger and jealousy, he let it rule him. And that path, well, it only leads to one place. He tricks his brother, lures him out into a field, and he kills him. This is it, humanity's first murder. And even more specifically, the first time a brother killed a brother, the first fratricide. It's that moment the poison inside finally spills out into the world. And, you know, this story draws a straight line from that inner feeling to the outward act. It's a principle you see echoed centuries later. This quote just reinforces that core idea. The seed of murder isn't a knife or a rock. It's the unchecked anger in your heart. In that sense, you could say Cain was already guilty long before he ever walked into that field. So the deed is done. But the story's not over yet. This final act is all about the fallout, Cain's confrontation with God, his severe punishment, and then a really fascinating and often misunderstood twist of grace. When God confronts Cain and asks, "Where is your brother Abel?" this is his response, and it has become one of the most infamous lines ever spoken. It is just dripping with sarcasm, defiance, and a total refusal to accept any responsibility. He's not just lying, he's basically sneering at the very idea that we owe anything to each other. There's zero remorse here. And the punishment fits the crime perfectly. It's this threefold destruction of his entire world. First, his livelihood is destroyed. The very ground he farms is now cursed to him. Second, his community is destroyed. He's cast out, forced to be a restless wanderer. And third, his divine bond is destroyed. He's hidden from God's presence. His one sinful act causes a total collapse of his reality. And listen to Cain's reaction, because this is such a crucial detail. He cries out, "My punishment is more than I can bear." He doesn't say, "My sin is more than I can bear." He still hasn't repented. He's not sorry for what he did, he's just sorry he got caught. He only cares about the consequences for himself. And right here, this is the paradox. Just when you expect God to bring down the final hammer, he does something totally unexpected. He puts a mark on Cain. But it's not a mark of shame like we often think, it's a mark of divine protection. It's an incredible act of grace to make sure no one can take revenge on him. And that protection isn't just a suggestion, it's absolute. God declares that anyone who hurts Cain will face vengeance 7 times over. I mean, it's just a stunning moment. God himself preserves the life of the first murderer. He breaks the cycle of violence before it can even get started and shows that divine justice is way more complex than a simple eye for an eye. So in the end, the story of Cain is timeless because the choice he faced is completely universal. We all have those resentments, those angers, that jealousy that crouches at the door of our hearts, just wanting to take over. The story is a warning, and Cain failed to listen to it. So the real question isn't for him anymore, it's for us. What's crouching at your door, and what are you going to do about it?